syndrome and my brother has autism. So basically we are both on this ASD spectrum, AC line. So but I am going to tell you viewers and you people, there is absolutely nothing wrong with both of them, because it makes us who we are. And if nobody likes that we are different, everybody's different, if nobody likes that, then that's their loss. Because people with autism are actually really nice. And well, I tell you what, I got diagnosed 3 years ago, and well, the cancer team told me it disappears soon, so I thought, okay, hopefully it will. I felt really sad about having it. I knew my brother, but obviously he's so amazing, he's so creative in so many ways, and he's just one of my best friends. I'm not saying that because he's my brother, but I understand him, you know, and I can see mine and his similarities in the things we do, and I'll tell you in a second. So I got diagnosed 3 years ago, and he said that it disappeared. So last year, we was watching a video about autism for Bob of his homework, and they was mentioning about Asperger syndrome. So I got really upset because I found out that I actually do have it, because they said what the people with Asperger syndrome do in the video, and I realised that I did do most of the things that this girl mentioned, and I got really upset. It disturbed my lessons at school because it just kept entering my head, and that's all I ever worried about, having this Asperger syndrome, being different to everyone. And I thought that's why I'm so weird and so strange, and that's why people used to bully me. I always thought that, and people still do now, but you've got to accept it, because I have to stick up for myself, and that's what you all have to do too. So, but to be honest, there's nothing wrong with having it, right? And now I just think, you know, so what? I can tell whoever I want, and I can be me. It doesn't matter if I have learning difficulties because of it. I also have learning difficulties because of galactosemia. But it really doesn't matter. Sometimes I don't understand why people say stuff. I don't understand how to communicate properly. Sometimes I have these, like, I'm proper moody, or like I'll be a different way to my dad than I am with other people. But some of the people with autism are just like that with anyone. But people are different. People with autism are different. Some other people with autism, and yes, this video, and people generally are different. And anyway, my brother got diagnosed when he was 6, and he was diagnosed with autism, and my parents were speaking to the doctors, and because he was screaming down the stairs, and he was being just generally behaving in an uncontrollable way. So my parents wondered what it was, and they found out he had autism. So they found out very difficult, but then they can get through it now. They understand why he behaves in the way that he does, and he can speak. Yeah, he's very obsessive about a lot of things, and so am I, to be honest. It doesn't really matter with like Peppa Pig anyway. I probably get obsessed with that, and I'm very unorganised, and that's I find it difficult to be organised. Like that's like my brother too. He can't, like, people can't help spending their money, but that's like my brother as well. And he doesn't understand when people speak, or if they're trying to be nice, or he may just things get a lot for him, just little things even. And that's the same with me. And me and my brother, we can't let go of things sometimes. But there are positives to it. Like, my brother can remember, like, once he was walking at night time, and the police came looking for him because, well, that's not a positive, but the end of it is, we wondered where he was. So after 4 hours we rang him, and honestly we couldn't find where he was. So we rang the police and they found him. But the positive thing about this is that he remembers, like, from where we live now to wherever else. Like, he can remember where he's been, memories, and facts. He's very good. And I can remember things from, like, years ago, and memories. Sometimes I have random dreams about people I've only saw, like, 4 years ago. I can even remember dreams, like, from a year ago, or honestly. And I always ask someone random questions. I think that's my Asperger syndrome too. And obviously people do. And I say, what did you dream of? And they say back, or reply, I didn't have one. And I wonder how can you not have one? And I have one every night. So, things that also people with Asperger syndrome, autism, also have anxiety. They have, like, over anxiety, or they worry a lot. And or they may have depression. They have those symptoms, or they either have it. Like me, I have anxiety and I worry too much. But I've learned lots of strategies and lots of things to cope with it. And I know that things do get better in time, and there are people to speak to. People with Asperger syndrome find it very hard to make friends. Like in my primary school, I thought it was right to do the wrong thing, if you know what I mean. Like, my parents, don't get me wrong, my parents are great parents, and they brought me up very good, correctly. So, they told me the right and wrong thing to do, but obviously at school I used to be like, some people develop really great with Asperger syndrome, but with me, I was like a little bit naughty when I was younger. I don't know why I smiled then, but that's what. Well, in my second school, I got awarded the smiliest at school. I was like, that's not even a word. Smiling the most around school and to be happy. But anyway, here we go. I keep forgetting things, like, from a second ago, but I remember a lot. Anyway, yeah. I poked one of the pupils in my class with a sharp pencil. Well, I was only like 5, but I thought I didn't really understand what would happen. And you may think I was dumb, but I obviously learned right from wrong, because from that I got told off by the head teacher saying that my mum would be angry at me anyway. So then I started ripping my wallpaper at the age of 5 and drawing on my wall, which is obviously wrong. But then I obviously learned that, like, the night I did it, my parents caught me at midnight, and then I was just I was crying at night time, and I was crying and wondering, Papa, Christmas doesn't come. I just remember that night, seriously. People say you won't be able to remember when you're 5, but I definitely do remember that. And but then people with autism, who are autistic and who have Asperger syndrome, well, they find a lot of things difficult, but then they can make progress through it. Like with my communication skills, I sometimes don't know what to say, like a lot of people, or I don't know how to react to some people. Like, I never used to get manipulation or sarcasm. Now I'm trying to fully well understand it, because I know that I do get people intimidating me and or trying to be sarcastic to me, or actually accusing and being sarcastic to me. So sometimes if they're being sarcastic to me, I wouldn't know what to do or say. I'd actually think it's the truth, or I'm very gullible with things. I don't understand why people sometimes are sarcastic, or if they say silly things. I have words that I know people who don't have autism have words that they hate. I have words that I hate, or like things that I would say to my parents, and I wouldn't like. I find it hard to like speak sometimes, and I suffer a lot sometimes. I used to go to speech therapy, but I know that I'm at communication skills. I've gone better at it because I never used to be very, very good. But throughout every year, I try my hardest to get better at it. I get confused about a lot of things and just sit down and think about different things, about how chairs are made or anything. And I get proper worked up myself because I get worked up with how things are made or why things happen. But I love researching. So if I want to do something, I know I'll try to do it. And like people with autism are actually really, really nice. Like once you get to know them, sometimes if they look at you weirdly, it might not just be you. Circumstances. So yeah, it's hard to deal with it, but we've got to get through it and be strong because there is loads of positives. Like I remember a lot of things and memories, and I know that I can try to speak out loud in public, but it depends who's around. Or if people there that who don't like me, I'll try and still do it. And I love making stories. I've always wrote them since I was about 7 years old. That's it, yeah. And I remember writing one about bats, being obsessed with bats, and I wrote one about bats, and I read it out in speech therapy. And I've always made little booklets, and I remember writing one when I was like 8 about my dad giving me like £1,000. It's a mini booklet that I made, and he gave me loads of money. And then in it, he said, Naomi, you know, we had a fallout in it. And then he said, I'm sorry, and we both gave each other a hug in the story, and he gave me over £1,000 because I was being a good girl or something. And my brother used to, well, people with Asperger syndrome, autism, they get obsessive habits as well. Like my brother used to have this obsessive breathing habit, like going, but people need to accept that, my brother did get picked on a lot for that, you know, and I did find it very irritating at first, because I wondered what it was doing. Obviously I do accept him for who he is, because as I've just said, I understand everything that he says, because most of it is similar to what I do too. Me and my brother are different and the same, to be honest. I mean, we're different people, we're different human beings, but we're still human beings, and we still are on the ASD. And some of the things he does, I realise that I do too. Or some of the things he does, I do in a different way. And I'm always there for him. But yeah, when he did that, I was wondering, why does he do that? But I'd never picked on him, because even if I did, it's my brother, I'm allowed to. He picks on me and I pick on him. You know, we are brother and sister. And saying that, like, what am I saying? Like, people don't need to judge someone if they have a bad habit. Or in the cinema, I've always understood that if there's a non-verbal autistic child in there, or an adult, it's making noises or laughing. Right, this is serious at first. If they are doing that, then no one needs to look at them or give them the evils. No one needs to laugh at them, because they're good doing that. It's them, right? You don't do that because you are different. Everybody's different. Now, you don't laugh at them. You wouldn't like it if someone laughed at you for being different or being quiet. You have your ways. You may behave in a different way or behave difficult at school, and this is what they do. these non-verbal autistic people, I've been to the cinema lots of times, and obviously, and sometimes when I go, there's people with learning difficulties, and I'm not judging them, because I can tell, because I've met a lot of people with learning difficulties, and they may be different to you, and I can tell, because obviously people can tell. People may tell I have Asperger syndrome, because I got asked once, have you got Asperger's? And I said, yeah. How do you know? Well, I can tell. So, if they have it, if they're making a noise, or don't understand something, if they're doing something you don't understand, don't stare at them, because it makes them anxious. Because they have brains just like you, and they are who they are, because everybody is different, and everybody is who they are. So yeah, and people with autism have talents. Like my brother's remembering stuff. He loves singing. He's good at performing in front of people. He's good with. He used to have obsessions like thunder and lightning. And as I just said, he's got one about drinking sometimes, but he's not an alcoholic. He loves money, money, money. And he used to have an obsession with like Carmen Og. So did I actually. And we used to dance a lot to Carmen Og and that. And he's a really wonderful person. You've got to just get that into some people's heads, that no matter who they are and if they've got a disability, they will be nice people. Most autistic people with disabilities, are still human beings. And my talents are drama. I'm really good at acting, and I've been on 4 O'Clock Club as an extra, so that's going to be shown on air in December or November, I think. So yeah, and I need to get my modelling license renewed, so then I could definitely do some more acting work. And I'm good at making stuff. As I've said, I've made stories since I was young, but I've also made lots of crafty stuff since I was young. See, we do have positives as well, and I'm at the moment, as I've just said, researching. I research everything, and I love doing new things all the time, looking after children, and I love researching stuff about autism too, and I love watching Peppa Pig, so don't judge me. It's just one of my slight obsessions. I love listening to music, and I'm quite good with people. Like sometimes, like if someone didn't like me, I get worked up though. So I wouldn't get actually worked up, but in my head I'd be thinking, why are they looking at me like that? Or if someone says something and I actually try to be nice, I might take something too personal. And I know a lot of people do that, but that's one of my difficulties as well. Like, I have learning difficulties in class, but in maths today, I finally understand measuring and weighing. And I was like times and stuff, and it was really good. And in English, I'm really good at English. That's one of my positives and talents. I love art, and I love doing stuff with hair, and hopefully gonna grow mine. And oh yeah, and I believe anything me. Even my dad said that. So I don't know. I realise that a lot of people use me though, so I'm trying. I don't know how to say no though. So if people ask for something like a cake, and it's one of them, it's the only one left or something, I don't know how to say no. And if I was really hungry, or if I didn't want to do something, I don't know. Sometimes I'll say if that's okay. I do say if that's okay a lot. But yeah. And anyway, if you've got any questions or comments, I'll be there for you all. And thank you. And I'm sorry if this took a while, but you know. So yeah, thanks. That's Naomi. And see ya. Thank you.